Aatu Räty has now played 7 games for the Islanders, so what's the plan for him going forward? Hit that subscribe button, do not miss a video. Also go to Twitter, follow at TLOMitch. That's me. Don't miss any breaking information about Islanders prospects I've yet to cover on the channel. Aatu Räty has now played 7 games for the New York Islanders since they called him up in late December. He has now put up 2 points in those 7 games, but isn't playing a whole lot of time. So what's the plan for him going forward? First, let's just talk about how he's doing. He's got those 2 points in 7 games, both of them goals.
Led to the boards, Anders Lee gets there with Forsling. Played it to Raty, Aatu Räty, scores! Feeds the right side, nobody there. And Martin steps back over the Vancouver line. Nice pass, Ross Johnson centers the puck, and they score! Aatu Räty able to beat Martin.
He isn't playing a whole heck of a lot. He's averaging somewhere around 1.5 to 2 shots per game. His face-off numbers are doing okay. When you look at his advanced analytics, let me bring it up here. Where's my mouse? There it is. Nope, those are his totals. When you look at his advanced numbers, his Corsi 4 isn't above 50, and he's one of a few guys who isn't. But we're not really worried because Brock Nelson's on the list as well. Expected goals for as well, Aatu Räty. Really trying to make sure I got the pronunciation down. Teal, let me know how far off I am. 48% expected goals for, and then high danger chances for when he's out there, 10th. So Aatu Räty isn't too far off from where we would expect a rookie to be. He's doing well enough, but not enough to really say like he deserves a spot going forward. He hasn't played anyone off the roster as it stands now. So then what's the plan for him? To figure out what the plan is going forward with him, we have to remember why he's up here in the first place. And it's really because of injuries, right? We have to remember there are a number of key injuries on the Islanders roster. Let me just pull up the daily faceoff tracker, if you will, here. And you can see Pelech, Wahlstrom, Palmieri, Holmstrom all out with injury. Obviously, Adam Pelech doesn't really matter for this discussion, but it matters a whole great deal when it comes to the New York Islanders. What really stands out here is you got 3 wingers, 3 top 9 wingers out. And because Wahlstrom, Palmieri, and Holmstrom are all out, you've now got a spot down the middle because Casey Cizikas is playing on the wing. So once one of those guys gets back, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Kyle Palmieri before either Wahlstrom or Holmstrom, once he gets back, there isn't a space for Aatu Räty anymore. That's the plan for Aatu Räty. It's to cover for injuries. That's it. The plan is you're here to fill a need, and until that need is no longer needed, you're gone. Unless you can outplay someone on the roster, which I don't think he's done yet. As it stands now, Kyle Palmieri seems to be skating with the team. He could very well return, and that would force Casey Cizikas to go back down the middle and bump Aatu Räty out. Now, there is the whole Matthew Barzal day-to-day thing. If Matthew Barzal remains day-to-day when the Islanders returned home on Tuesday to face the Dallas Stars, you might still see Aatu Räty in the lineup, probably playing as the 3rd line center, of course, assuming Kyle Palmieri is back, which would be a huge benefit to him. He would then play in a more offensive role with more offensive players, which suits what he could bring to the table at the NHL level. Now, what about the fact that Aatu Räty has now played 7 games, and if he plays a 10th game, he will have burned 1 year off his ELC. If they send him back to Bridgeport before he's played 10 games, they don't burn a year on his ELC. Does that matter? Should that factor into the discussion here in keeping Aatu Räty with the Islanders? No, not at all, not whatsoever. If he happens to play 10 games because they need him to play 10 games, then so be it. And I'm sure, I can't guarantee it, but I'm as close to guaranteeing it as possible, Lou Lamoriello is thinking the same way. They're not going to perform cap gymnastics just to be like, oh my God, we can't have him burn a year of his ELC. Whatever. If he happens to burn a year, he happens to burn a year. He will learn something from it. That's all that matters. It really doesn't matter if like, well, in year 3, we don't need to pay him an extra 1 million or 2 million or whatever his bridge deal is going to be then. They're going to worry about that problem then. They need him now. They will use him now if they happen to need him for 10 games. If they don't, so be it. then it's win-win. But they're not going to force someone like Kyle Palmieri to come back earlier just so they don't have to pay Aatu Räty another couple of $1 million a few years from now. No. So the fact that his ELC they might burn 1 year of his ELC if he plays 3 more games isn't factoring into the discussion whatsoever. The only reason he is here is to fill that center role while one of these top 9 wingers are out. Once one of those guys, Wahlstrom, Palmieri, or Holmstrom return, he's going to go back to the AHL. Now, if in those 3 games, Aatu Räty just goes nuts and really cements a spot in the roster where you cannot kick him off, then we can have that discussion of like, well, maybe he should stay. But as it stands now, again, he hasn't played anyone off the roster. So the plan for him is just cover injuries, learn as much as you can, and then bring that back to you or with you when you go to Bridgeport for the remainder of the season, assuming we don't have any more injuries. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button. And if you have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you.